Oh, good evening, the internet. How are we?
Good evening.
Now we're missing a couple of people. I know that there's people in the chats at the moment. So hello, people. John may get a little bit sidetracked this week because apparently somebody's beat him into the chat group of a different platform.
John?
I mean, really, John. Really, John. This is the platform that you need to be looking at. Come on.
I am.
So how's your week been, John? All good?
No, it's been horrible.
No.
I've lost a colony of platin Monty, 3-coloured one, and I've lost another SPS coral. And do you know why? Because last Friday's stream, not after this one, it was talking about coral pests, and I put a comment on saying I've never had any.
Ooh. You said it out loud, John.
This week it's about fish pests, so I'm keeping stum.
Yeah, it's never a very good topic.
See, Alan's got it. Hi, Lee.
Yeah, Alan's been invited. All he needs to do is click a button. So what are we talking about this week, John?
Advice, whether you take it or not.
Ooh, I like it. So is there any advice that you've been given? Because you're obviously a reefing legend, and there's bound to be loads and loads of people that tell you that you're doing it all right, or you do that all right, John, right? That's good, that is. Or you're doing it all wrong. So what's the advice that's been?
I get advice about water changes and not to use all for reef, but I don't. I listen to a lot of advice and I do it my way because it's my tank.
So there's a lot of advice out there that you just like push to one side and you go, no, that's not for me. Is there any advice that you've pushed to one side that you regret pushing to one side?
No.
No. So I would presume that you're doing ICP tests every week. You're doing water changes every week. You're doing are you doing thunderstorms on your lighting schedule? No. Are you chopping and changing between oh no, you don't actually use a product to take phosphates out, are you? So chopping and changing.
I have done. I have done in the past.
Do you walk around in a bubble, John? Do you walk around in a bubble?
No, I just do things that works for me. I'm a simple reefer. I don't want to get it all complicated. At my age, I don't. Why would I want to complicate things? I just want to enjoy the tank while I'm here. Alan Cartjoin is in a beer garden.
Who's in the beer garden?
Alan.
Alan's in a beer garden. Well,
yeah, and
as long as he's watching,
he's possibly heading to the Chinese shortly.
Well, there you go. So what you're saying is
Roxanne on. We've got Roxanne on.
And again, another person that I've never met, John. So hi, Roxanne. Let's give her a little bit of a thing. There you go. Oh,
lovely lady. Her husband Matt. They're both reefers from Norfolk.
Ooh, it's going to get busy that time of the way. It's going to get busy that bit of the country, isn't it? Loads of people going that way.
Yeah, and here. To Skeggy.
Yeah. Skeg Vegas, bank holiday weekend. It's going to be good. What's that you've got in your hand, John?
It's a John Wright mug.
Ooh.
I give them away.
It's a John Wright mug.
Yeah,
Like
I buy them. I buy them
so
and then
we'll,
give them
we'll
away.
talk about John Wright. We'll make a special feature out of John Wright mugs. We'll do it properly, and we'll do it in a couple of weeks' time about John Wright's mugs, because I've learned something off camera that I'm not going to share to the world. We're going to keep it, and we're going to make an hour's worth of nonsense on a Friday night about it. So obviously we're missing people at the moment, but just bear with 2 seconds. It's time for a water test. So the bit of information of why I did this whole thing tonight was the little bit of advice that I was given right at the beginning of the hobby, which is now, I'm going to say 9 years ago, was to take it slowly.
Yeah.
Take the hobby slowly, because you're dealing with Mother Nature, and Mother Nature takes years and years and years. As Mother Nature's taken 49 years to perfect me, and she's doing a good job. But Mother Nature and John Wright are learning how to not kill the internet. It's just me at the moment. Let's just highlight John. No, I'm not going to highlight. I'll take him off just 2 seconds. So you're now talking to me, only me, because John's pressed something that he's not meant to be pressing. You know, when you come up with a brilliant idea of getting somebody that's a legend in this hobby and putting him in front of a camera, I see why he does very well in the charts, because it's just like one extra thing. He's gone, and then he's turned up in a different guise now. So here we go. Let's add him to this.
Sorry about that. I've been making RODI up, and I've got my alarm on the my timer on the phone, and it went off, and then it just took off the stream.
Because you pressed buttons. I mean, how dare you, John? How dare you? But we're back in the room now. So let's just add Johnny Come Lately. That turns up. What we at now? 8 minutes after the shift starts. 8 minutes after the shift starts. I know Pretty Boy's in the room.
Evening.
Evening.
So we'll let him off. We'll let him off because it's his wife's birthday today. So I'm going to say, because I was called out last year that I'd not done anything and not mentioned Deb's for a holiday, for a birthday, not a holiday. I get him mixed up because they have far too many holidays. Deborah, the love of my life that's married to him. Don't show my wife that I've called you the love of my life on the internet. But happy birthday, Deborah. Now, all you need to do is go and watch this, and then it bumps up my live views. Did you know it was Deborah's birthday today, John?
I didn't. I don't know her.
No.
Happy birthday, Deborah.
Yeah. She's the one that keeps Ross in line, keeps him sane. That's why he's got all his hair still there.
Yep.
Oh,
Bless.
Going back to last week when you asked me what it was about equipment.
Yep.
I failed to mention a wave maker. Because you need a wave maker, don't you?
Oh, so I haven't got a wave maker at the moment, John.
All right.
In this little tank that I've got here, just bear to see. You can hear me. You can hear me. Let me just draw a bit of water. It's like drawing blood. So no, there is no wave maker in there at the moment.
Oh.
So how far into the hobby do we need a wave maker? Do we need one at day one, or do we need one a little bit further into the hobby? Because at the minute this tank's 8 weeks old and I haven't got one.
I think it depends on the size of your tank, really, because your return pump can move a lot of water about. But I'd say anything 3 foot or above, you could do with one.
Ooh. This is the good bit about doing this fish tank live, John, that I've got a 3 foot fish tank and it's 8 weeks old and I haven't got a wave maker. What do you think, Ross? Do you think he's right? Do you think he's wrong?
I think you need a wave maker.
What we making next week's episode about? Wave makers?
Yeah, why not?
All the good bits and bad bits, because I need to be informed. John's just mentioned that I haven't got one. So I need to be informed, because all of this is being done live.
Right.
Which is obviously sometimes a detriment to the internet, but
Lee, Roxanne's mentioned that she's got a wave maker in her 30-litre reef case tank.
ooh, and do you know what? If Roxanne had a live stream and then I was on that live stream, we'd have a chitter-chatter. Or Roxanne could get onto my live stream and then we'll have a little bit of fisticuffs further down the line.
I think she's too shy.
It's all open. You never know.
I think
She's not too shy.
She is. Matt's the one that's always on the street.
Tell you what. Well, no, that's it. We're not having favoritism.
Another thing, I know it's not quite equipment, but what you need to start with is test kits, isn't it?
Yeah. So at 8 weeks, what test kits do we need? I know, I seem to think that I gave you homework for last week's stream and now it's coming up on this week's stream. Maybe what we were meant to be talking about this week may come up next week. We're all winging it. We're all winging it. So at 8 weeks, what test kits do we need?
Ammonia,
Come on, John.
nitrite, nitrate. That's all you need
What do
to
we think,
start with,
Ross?
isn't it? Oh,
What do we
I
think?
also needed.
I would have said nitrite for sure, yeah, because you're checking if your tank's cycled yet or not, aren't you?
Okay. Have you
Yeah,
still got a nitrite test kit, Ross?
No.
Okay. And did you buy a nitrite test kit right at the beginning?
Not right at the beginning. Maybe about 8 weeks in, just to see if it was cycled or not.
Okay. And how many times have you used that test kit in the first year?
Well, as soon as, I don't know, maybe only a few times. As soon as it was showing 0, then I've not used it again.
So as a cost saving, would it have been better maybe to take a water sample into your local fish shop, maybe once or twice, and save a tenner? Or I don't know, John.
No, Ross took his sample into the doctor's.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
not
not
looking
wired up
good.
properly. I know. But is that? I mean, again, this is the point of winging this live stream. That get in the comments and tell me your nitrite test kit. Do you still use it, or was it one of the things that you went into your local fish shop and they took an extra tenner off you, and it's now a wasteful piece of equipment? Could you have taken that test kit? Could you have taken that little bit of water potentially 2 or 3 times into your local fish shop and got them to test it and saved yourself a tenner?
Yeah, probably.
No.
We're all for, no. Oh, go on, John.
I'm at Skegness. My local fish shop is nearly 40 miles away.
It would have cost you more to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horses
I
for
like
courses,
it.
isn't it?
Horses for courses, yeah. Finding out the right sort of money. Oh, we've got the Norfolk Reefer in. I'm going to delete his comments. He's rival platform. He's here. He's here.
That's Roxanne's husband, Matt. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Roxanne's put a good comment.
Oh, wait.
About
Here we
the
go. Here we
beginning.
go. Here we go. There we go. Ooh. API test kits. Ooh. Ooh, I shudder to think.
No, we all use those to start with, don't we?
Yeah. Everybody did when you sort of went from I'm going to say when you sort of went from a tropical hobby into the marine hobby, then you used API test kits. But then when you figured out, so I'm going to put the gauntlet down now, because the Norfolk Reefer, I know who the Norfolk Reefer is. I've seen him loads and loads. He's a person that's on the internet. I want to get his missus on rival platform. See who's
Roxanne. There's no way Roxanne will come on. Tell you that.
Oh, I don't know.
Too shy. There is
Roxanne's
another thing.
than her husband.
Yeah, just one more thing about test kits, right?
Go on.
You're doing testing live, right? In a darkened room.
No.
No?
Sorry, go on. No. It's fucking bright as Christmas in here, love.
Oh, right. No, but a lot of people end up doing it with a blue light on, and you can't see. I mean, a lot of men are colourblind anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But no, this is you've been here, John. This is as good as Christmas. This is a light. So we'll throw that back to Ross, because Ross, when he does his test kits, goes through a ritual. Don't you, Ross?
Yeah, I would say so. I try and do it at the same time on the same day, in front of the same window, and do it all in the same order. Just because that's what I do.
Consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now look what Keith has put up.
Oh, go on. Yes, and do you know why he does that? Because he's one of my former customers, and he's doing it completely right. So at the moment, when I'm doing all of this live, then it's like an internet shit show. But that's not the point. We don't have to be big and brave. All we need to do is spend an hour together and talk about things about the internet and talk about things about fish tanks. Because there's a lot of little bits, John, that you do with your fish tank that I know nothing about. And I may disagree. I may agree totally. The Norfolk Reefer, does his testing and has been on a platform to explain that, I would think. I'm doing my testing here on a Friday night live, purely for the fact that that fish tank that's behind me is a brand new thing that the internet has never seen before. Doing it all live. If it all goes tits up, then it all goes tits up. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Because I'll be informed by John Wright and Roscoe's Reef. Oh, and Moe's Reef and things like that. So any more bits from last week, John?
No, can't think of any.
No more from last week. So what about this week, Ross? What's the best advice, probably from me, that you never listened to?
And
Anybody
still
think they
never
have
listened to is coal placement and leaving it alone. Still have to get in there and move it around and stuff.
Right. So go on, explain that a little bit more.
Well, because you're not always entirely sure if you put a coal in somewhere and whether that's the right place for it. So, after a couple of days, you're looking at it and it looks a bit miserable. The temptation is to pick it up and move it somewhere, innit? But that seems to be the advice seems to be to not do that, to leave it alone and let it find its own way.
Ooh.
But the temptation is still to get in there and move it about, which obviously pisses it off even more.
Okay.
Alan's asking which is the more important, pH or DKH? Alkalinity.
Ooh. Right.
I think
So
alkalinity.
So you've put alkalinity.
Yeah.
What's your? So we're getting questions from the audience now because he's sussing us out. He's been live once and he's now watching from a pub garden and he's wanting to know what Roscoe's Reef is all about. What's your main priority? KH or DKH?
KH, definitely.
Be honest, be truthful.
Yeah, alkalinity.
Why is that Roscoe's Reef?
Just through what I've been told, it's about the growth and that. A lot of people don't even bother testing the pH at all.
Right. So the man that drove his Ferrari, was it a Ferrari or a Lamborghini when he was driving it last week? I can't remember. He's driven it. I can't remember, John. Was it a Lamborghini or was it a Ferrari that he was driving last week? Lamborghini. Let's say Lamborghini. So when all of this live streamy things started to happen, there's more information that goes to the internet. And the first time I personally tested my what's it called now? What's it called? pH was probably 5 years into the hobby. 5 years. But I knew from probably 8 months, 9 months into the hobby that DKH was a thing. And this is where the information that's on the internet, the KH or the pH, sorry, or the DKH, which is KH. A lot of people are now talking about pH on the internet. But Ross, how often do you test your pH?
I've tested it recently simply because Dave gave me a test kit, so I've used it. My pH is 8.
Okay.
But if I didn't have a test kit, I wouldn't have tested.
So we all know because of the internet what optimum pH is, 8.3. But the amount of people that spend lots and lots of time chasing, Alan said last time, chasing those numbers, that little bit of pH, DKH, let's focus on that particular tank that's behind me. Would you advise the lights just come back on. Would you advise concentrating on DKH or pH within 8 weeks? And I would say neither at the moment, because neither at the minute, it's only got soft corals in there. Neither making it, neither.
No, it's all about your nitrate and phosphate at the minute.
Nitrate, 8 weeks in, nitrates, phosphates. Go on, John.
Roxanne's put a good comment. If you have a look.
Yeah, go on.
She says,
Am I meant to be
How-
looking?
no, if you put it up on the screen for the people to see.
Oh, sorry. Go on. That one. I'm told off again in these comments. John's the comments master, and I now need to show all the comments. But go on.
She's right. Mine doesn't seem to fluctuate, but I do test it regular. The ALK.
And this is where the internet is telling people that are brand spanking new in this hobby that pH is a thing. And the Norfolk Reefer needs to revert back to, I'm going to call him out, the Norfolk Reefer. I've never met the guy. Revert back to the first year of having a fish tank. And this is the first year of this particular fish tank. Give me one of the two, or are they both the most important things in the hobby? Sorry, Ross, we're now having chit-chat with other platforms. Little bit of a fisticuff moment, but tell me, 8 weeks into a fish tank, would you be bothered about alkalinity? Would you be bothered about pH?
8 weeks in, no, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I would. Ooh, pH is important for smaller tanks. As smaller tanks struggle. Alk once corals are in. I've got corals in. Have you not watched my live stream? Oh, dearie me. You've just said corals. This is going really well, Ross. This is going really well. Oh, let's get off of arguing with comments because we're now spending too much time in comments. Ross.
Yeah.
Did you do some homework?
I did do some homework. I shared my homework.
Oh, did you? Did you see the homework, John?
Yeah.
Ooh, the Norfolk Reefers just said he's not on a platform. He's if he says that he's not going to turn up in a branded T-shirt like the other one that John invited, then we'll get him on. Bit of wisdom, bit of back and forth. As long as you've got your missus sat next to you, because it's all about the hidden reefer as well. So yes, John, did you see Ross's homework?
Yes.
What did you think to the corals that he's picked?
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
So go on, Ross. What did you pick?
I can't actually remember them all, and I can't look at them because I'm on my phone. But there was a little group of clove polyps.
Yep.
There was jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
There's a couple of zoa. I think there were rastazoas.
Yep, which was a really bad picture. Where did you get that picture from?
Off your website.
Oh, well, I need to update that picture then, don't I? Because that's a poor picture.
They were all off your website. I think there was a chalice and there was a couple of chalices, a chalice and a Monty, something like that. I can't remember now. I forget the names of them.
So at least you did your homework. That's all I'm going to say. You did your homework. So you've picked 5 corals.
Yeah.
That on my website have got a value, what I'm selling them for at the moment, at 59 quid for 5 corals plus postage. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last time we were on, we negotiated a price point for John's coral bundle. Let's get rid of that comment. Let's because it's been there ages. Just saying. And John managed to get 55 quid down to 35 quid, if I remember rightly.
Right. Yeah.
Are all the corals doing well, John?
Yeah, they're good. Yeah. Fine.
I
No
didn't
problem.
hear
There were
quality corals.
no pests.
It must be that the echo's not very good. Quality corals, John,
Oh.
yes?
Yeah, brilliant. There were no pests on them. So,
That's a winner to start with. Yeah. Ross, what are you expecting to negotiate 55 quid, 59 pounds down to?
See these bundles, these packs and offers and things. The aim is, I suppose, to entice people to buy and then to return to the website because they've got a good deal and they like the product.
That is exactly the point. That is exactly the point. Yep. You're a very clever man, you are.
So it needs to be a good, enticing deal, then, doesn't it?
Oh, right. Okay. Let me. I can't sit down. Okay, I'm gonna hold myself steady just in case I fall into a fish tank. Right, I'm ready.
So I reckon 35 quid again, I reckon.
35 pounds again.
For 5 corals. Plus postage.
Obviously plus postage. I'm not doing it. It's like 20 quid, the Norfolk Reefer says. 20 quid?
Oh, even better.
20
one, Matt.
quid. I tell you what.
5 corals, £5.
Norfolk Reefer. No, let's start off with the Norfolk Reefer. The person that is from Norfolk, that's in the reefing industry. Tell you what, my son, you promote my corals. I will tell you send me a message on this little device. I'll give you a voucher code. You personally, a voucher code, one of them. And if anybody wants to follow the Norfolk Reefer for a voucher code, I will do one bundle for 20 quid. Somebody said in the week, frags for fame. I think that's a very good strapline, isn't it? Because I've got nobody watching me and I'm literally giving 60 quid's worth of corals that would be about 120 quid in the shops for 20 quid. Message me after. We'll have a chitty chatter and we'll sort it all out. Oh.
How
How
much
much is postage?
postage is?
The easiest way to find out how much the postage is get on the website. The Norfolk Reefer postage is about 100 quid. It's just like, dearie me. £12.99 for postage. A coral bundle is classed as one thing. No, John, don't you worry. John gets special treatment on this platform. So does Ross, by the way. But yeah. But if we're now giving frags away for fame, Ross, for £35, I think you need to come up with a voucher code, because obviously putting it on the live stream and the World Wide Web, how are you going to get famous without my coral pack? You're not going to do it, are you?
I'm already famous.
You're already famous. Okay. Slick your hair back. So Roscoe's Reef, probably Sunday evening, I'm thinking is going to put out a voucher code that is going to get £35 worth of coral pack. Are we a one off or are we two off? We'll negotiate behind the scenes. But I'm thinking, because obviously John got £35 coral pack. I'm thinking more 45 quid. Is that too expensive, Ross?
It's way too expensive.
Way too expensive. Jesus Christ. How about 40 quid?
£37.50.
Jesus Christ, boy. Jesus Christ. £37.50. Right. So
Free
you've
delivery.
already put one to one side. I've already got rid of one of the clove polyps. I've actually only got 2 of the clove polyps left at the moment. So I can only do 2 of the clove polyps at that 37.50. How about you swap out the clove polyp for a different coral and advertise it on Roscoe's Reef on Instagram at 35 quid, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, we'll have a go.
We'll have a go. See how famous Roscoe's Reef gets with new subscribers off the back of me selling cheap corals. Because it's a bit of a throwaway comment, isn't it? Frags for fame. We've got 6 people watching us. If I want to do whatever I want to do with my corals, that's my business. Ross, last week we said we were going to put a 1 crab, 1 snail, and a little urchin. Did you see the size of the urchin that went in?
Yeah, I think it's the smallest urchin I've ever seen.
Have you seen it, John?
No.
No. So I'm midweek. Well, it's bank holiday. Probably on Monday, I may sit down because I'll be bored over the weekend, and I'll put a video together of how small the urchin is, because it's probably the size of my thumbnail. It's only a little baby, and then we can do a little bit more of a thing about the tank, because obviously doing it live, doing the water tests live, it's a thing. I don't want to have to then start avoiding you to put my hands in the tank and have to get rid of stuff. So we're going to interact the live stream with videos during the week and talking about that particular fish tank. I'll come across problems. John Wright and Roscoe's Reef will inform my decisions, as well as the Norfolk Reefer if he decides that he wants to have a chitter chatter. Because not everybody's opinion is right, not everybody's opinion is wrong, but getting people that are in the hobby more on the internet and live streams and things like that, it's all a Friday night talking about fish tanks, and I love it. So is anybody interested in what my water parameters are at the moment?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, yeah, it's taking an interest in my fish tank now, aren't you? So the nitrate's set for a while, but I did read the nitrate at 5. Are we happy with 5 at the moment? I'm not doing anything spectacular with the fish tank. John, you happy with 5?
Yeah, for a new tank, it's fine.
For a new tank. And 0.1 on my phosphate.
That's gone up a bit, hasn't it?
It has, because I stopped last week of adding 1 mil of lanthanum chloride. So I've stopped that for a week, and it's increased it from 0.03 to 0.1. Now, would you advise to revert back to what I was doing previously, or wait 1 more week to see if it gets higher next week? Norfolk Reefer, what would you do? Would you revert back to what we've previously done, or would you be happy at 0.1, and then next week, if it's run out of control, do something different? Put it in the chat, not a problem. So I'm happy at the results at the moment. I'm going to leave it another week before I do anything spectacular.
Have you still got Rowaphos in there as well?
There's still Rowaphos in the bottom. Have you not been watching, Ross? I'm doing it all live. You were here last time.
I didn't take any notice though.
Oh, okay. Yes, I have still got the Rowaphos in the bottom. which was changed 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, John, it was changed.
Sorry, I was just messaging
Yeah,
someone.
Right, so Lanthanum, yikes. Yes, Alan said that live before that he doesn't like it. And leave it, a little bit of a broad question, leave it as, so this is a little bit of thing that I ask a question, and my wife's answer when I ask a question, and I don't know whether it's me that's saying the wrong way of doing it, but when I say, would you rather go out or stay in? And she went, no, yeah, I'm fine. You're fine to which one? One. Am I going back to lanthanum chloride, or am I not going back to lanthanum chloride? Yes, no. Simple.
It depends on what's working for you, isn't it? It may have not worked for Alan. He said he had quite a bad experience with it, but other people haven't, have they?
And we'll dive into lanthanum chloride a lot in the future. So I'm going to be happy with the results that are on the page at the moment, because obviously 0.03 as a jump to 0.1 in a week is not too bad. Roxanne, this is where we all need to get on and have a proper dust up about lanthanum chloride, because I had Alan on last time and he was talking it down, but now you're saying that it's a good thing. I like it. And we'll have a proper lanthanum chloride fisticuff over the internet. But I'm happy with the results that are on the page at the moment. 0.03 to 0.1 in a week. No massive jump. I've not increased any livestock apart from the crab. I didn't actually put a snail in. I just put the urchin in because I couldn't find a snail that was small. I've only got like massive ones, and it would have been a little bit of overkill. So the tank behind has actually done nothing in a week, which is not really brilliant for the internet. But hopefully next week we may think about something to talk about over the internet. I'm thinking about putting another fish in. So we may get to talk about that next week. Go on, John. You don't have to put your hand up in class.
You're going to have to excuse me because I've got to sort out this RO unit. I'm making some in the bath.
Okay.
I need the toilet, and I'm going to get a drink.
Okie dokie.
Right.
We will see you next week, John.
Yeah.
Bye, John.
Oh, he was saying all right, and he was giving us a wave and everything like that, and I just cut him off. So we all know the technical term of John needing to leave the live stream. The technical term of John leaving the live stream is he's going at 43 minutes to the 20 whatever to the hour. He's going to a rival platform, isn't he?
He's definitely.
He's savage, that John Wright. So now he's not here, we can talk about him. So you don't know a lot about John Wright, but the internet says that I didn't know anything about John Wright up until the point where a lot of live streams have him in the chat. And John Wright's mugs are a big thing. Yeah, you're going to get banned, you are. You know what I'm talking about. The John Wright mugs are a thing. And I found something out quite early before you turned up about John Wright's mugs. And
John Wright's mugs?
Yeah. Do you not know John Wright gives mugs out?
I did not know that. Why I got one?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. The Norfolk Reefer's got one.
Because I've got a couple of mugs, you know. Yeah,
I've got a couple of mugs. You're one of them. So yes, Gazza's got one. The Norfolk Reefer's got one. That fish tank's gone off. It's decided to leave like everybody else. But yeah, John, I found something really interesting about John Wright's mugs, and we'll go into that in a little bit further down the line. Oh, I know. So, you know, Gaz that was on last time that you met for the very first time?
Yeah.
Reefers Network, 100%. So, what do we think? Are we having Gaz back on again? Now he's promoting the Reefers Network.
Yeah, why not?
That Norfolk Reefer kid likes the Reefers Network as well. We're
all in the same hobby, aren't we?
We're all in the same hobby, and the Reefers Network's gone like very how to put it, very advanced. Let's say, whereas the brand new reefer still needs to be educated. The brand new reefer still needs to be educated, and the brand new reefer, whether they stumble across the Reefers Network or whether they stumble across Half Cut Corals, they still need to be educated. And the more people that have got fish tanks, the more people that have had a experience of good things or bad things, a little bit of a chatter, that somebody sat in a pub garden can go, oh, I've got absolutely nothing else to do with my day apart from watch Half Cut Corals. See what happens. Oh, you've not had a lot.
I was going to ask you actually about, you say your phosphate's gone up, even though you've got Rowaphos in there, but you stopped using the Agent Green.
Yep.
Well, I've experienced the same. I stopped using Agent Green because I put some Rowaphos in there. But I think, like you, mine's just in a bag floating around in the sun. Is that what you've done?
So at the moment, the Rowaphos is in the second chamber of the sump. Not a lot of flow, just enough as such. I could potentially move it to the first chamber and agitate it a little bit more, to potentially put more fast flowing water through it.
Well, this is what I was going to ask, because I've got it in the last chamber, so it's been, so the return pump's pulling water.
The return chamber, yeah.
The return chamber, yeah.
Yep.
But I'm not sure that it's agitated enough, because you hear a lot of stories about Rowaphos and how it like completely strips you of all the phosphate, and my phosphate's gone up with it in it.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, is the likes of Rowaphos better in a reactor? Does it work better? What I mean is, what I'm going to say is, if you don't have a reactor, are you better off using Agent Green?
Two different ways of solving one problem. So a lot of people will put like a Rowaphos or a GFO product into the first chamber, the second chamber, the third chamber, and different amounts of it. But if you treat it as though, at the end of the day, it is a sponge. So the more water that you put through it, the more it's got to absorb. And a lot of people will put it into a reactor to increase the flow through the water. And it's whether increasing the flow through the water with the Rowaphos, because there's also what's the other one, the Seachem one that is aluminium based, that sometimes people put in a reactor and things like that. Again, bang for your buck. The more water that goes through a product, whether it be a UV sterilizer, whether it be a return pump, whether it be a power head, whether it be a wave maker, the amount of flow that goes through that particular thing will have an impact on your fish tank. If the product that you're using at the moment isn't working in where it needs to be, that obviously then needs to potentially try it in a different chamber first, or if you've got it in a low flow chamber, increase it into a higher flow chamber, because obviously there's a lot of flow that comes down from your fish tank. So just moving it into a slightly more turbulent area, but don't put it so it is turning itself over, because there's some products out there that will get like coal. You keep rubbing it, it just gets finer and finer and finer and finer and finer, and then it just becomes a problem. But the flow aspect of, if you've got it in the return chamber, move it into, so I'm talking return in two different things. If you've got the return to the tank, if that's the chamber that it's in now,
That's where it is now, yeah.
I'd potentially move it across to the return to the sump and see whether that makes, because there's more turbulent water going through that particular area of the sump.
Even though it's going into the bog roll, because does that then slow that turbulence down then?
Yes, it will do. I forgot that you got a bog roll. You took that out at one stage.
I did, yeah.
So if the bog roll obviously is slowing the water down, yes, it's maybe going to do exactly the same as what it is in the other one. But before going out and spending 50 to 80 quid on a media reactor, stick it in the other chamber, see whether it makes a difference. It may make a difference. I'm not 100% sure. There's obviously a lot better reefers out there. I mean, some people like put a T on the return to put some flow through the return through the bog roll, and some flow through a different, like a media reactor type thing. But a media reactor has normally a pump on it.
Well, speaking to Ben in the past, he said he has his UV, doesn't he, running all the time, and the return from that UV goes into a little basket, which is where he puts that kind of media sort of thing, so that the water's flowing into that basket and through the media that way. So kind of creating a little reactor.
The flow from the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not running an UV, so.
No, but I would presume he's got a pump. I can't remember whether he's got a pump feeding his UV. I think he has got a pump. Dave's got a pump feeding his UV, so that would then interact two different, the UV and the media reactor, from one pump. And at the end of the day, this hobby, electric wise, is a very expensive hobby. And the way that I tend to deal with things is the less amount of money electric wise that you put into the fish tank, it's a cheaper entity to run. But obviously Dave's done it, that he's got, how many pumps has Dave got in his sump? I think 3 or 4, something like that, which is all extra energy and cost that you're putting into a fish tank. So it's just sometimes being smart with the water that's in that environment, whether increasing the return to the tank and then side venting by a T-piece going back into the return of the sump, you're then reusing the water with no real extra energy as such. But again, it's we've spoke about this before. There's loads and loads of different ways to do a fish tank, and the little bit of discussion that we've got 6 people watching at the moment is all information to the internet, and it's only by then coming across that particular problem, because that particular problem may happen in that particular tank, that further down the line we can then do this and do that, because there's a lot of opinions. We've had 2 people in the chat, one's for lanthanum chloride, one's against lanthanum chloride, but it doesn't give the internet as such a way of thinking about it.
I think like with a lot of these things, like we said earlier, the lanthanum works for some people, and for other people it doesn't. At the minute, I've tried Rowaphos on a couple of occasions, and I've not had great results. Whereas the Agent Green, it works, nigh on immediately.
Yep.
But it's a continuous thing. You're every day putting a mil in or whatever you need to put in.
Yeah, but then that draws back to automation and stuff like that. That running it
Yeah.
potentially on a dosing head, but only put in maybe 2 or 3 days worth of product in there, just in case you get a malfunction with an auto doser or something like that. Because at the end of the day, you chuck a tub of that product in, I would presume everything's dead within a couple of hours, because as Alan said, it's potentially going to starve the oxygen out of the water. So we will see. We're 55 minutes in, Ross. So obviously it's a beautiful day outside. It's Deb's birthday today. So we will cut it about now. Have you thought of a voucher code that you're going to put on Roscoe's Reef, or are we just going to wing it? Are we going to give the internet a time scale? If anybody gets this far into the live stream on catch up, they may get a snippet of a voucher code. What voucher code may we use? May the internet?
I don't know. I'll think about it.
All right, you'll think about it. The Norfolk Reefer needs to. So Norfolk Reefer, if you're still watching, go onto my Facebook page. There's a telephone number there. Either send me a message or ask John to add you to the WhatsApp group that Roscoe's Reef's not in, because he's in far too many. And we can have a chitter chatter about the Norfolk Reefers voucher code. To one coral bundle for 20 quid. I mean, how? Ooh, frags for fame. And then what did we decide on? Yours is 40 quid?
£37.50.
£37.50. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. £37.50. Going live Sunday evening, I would think. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading the comments. We will see you next week. I'll think of something that we can chitter chatter about, and hopefully, internet, Roscoe's Reef might turn up on time next week. Any sign off this week, Ross? Any words of wisdom?